excited to be here. Part of the reason I'm super excited to be here is because, of course, my daughter's in the class. But I'm going to have an opportunity to share with you something that I am very passionate about. And before I get started, I just want to paint this picture to you. There's an author. I want to encourage you to get this book. You're going to have a chance to get the notes, by the way, so you don't have to write this down. But if you haven't heard of Jeff Olson before, he wrote a book called The Slight Edge, Secret to Successful Life. And he says in his book to take two seemingly similar people and give them both the exact same opportunity. One takes it and has remarkable success, and the other doesn't. Why? What's the reason behind it? I'm going to address that today, but before I get there, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and why on earth you should even listen to me, okay? All of my life, I have had things in my life that have built up to where I am now, as you are in the same position. Everything that you do is about choices and about experiences. For me, I've always had a bent in my personality, in my nature, in my upbringing towards sales and towards business. As a matter of fact, when I was a young child, I learned real quickly that if I was going to have, I needed to take care of it and go get it and do what I needed to get it. My family was not wealthy, but we didn't know it. We had the attitude in our family that we were blessed, and we were. But I also realized that sometimes there were some things that I wanted that were outside the realm of what we could afford. So in order to be able to do that, I had to find a way. So I quickly found out that I could sell some things and make a little extra money. Maybe it was things I already had. I learned how to make a few things to use as gifts because I wanted to give gifts that I didn't have the money to provide for, so I was able to do that. I also quickly learned when I was in upper elementary and junior high that, now I thought that I had a talent for drawing. I didn't, but I thought I did, and I had confidence that I did, and I was able to convince other people that I did. So I did some little doodle arts and had them actually pre-buy them, and I made little colorful things and made money that way. And I quickly realized that I had a gift for selling. And so that kind of propelled me into the business world, and through different jobs and experiences along the way, it took me into a marketing degree. So I did get a marketing degree at Southern Nazarene University a few years ago, and have enjoyed doing different things in that realm over the years. Most of what I've done has been in helping promote other people's things. I've worked in real estate, helping with the promotions for the company. I've also had experience with a financial advisor promoting for him. Not really something I was passionate about on numbers, but passionate about the promotion side of it. I also have had experience in promoting a nonprofit organization. I've done things with my church, and what I've really enjoyed the most is being able to help promote the things for our own family with our businesses. My husband and I own Precision Tune Auto Care Centers. He's an area developer, and we have some centers in this state, several that are here. And when we first began that journey about 25 years ago, I was very involved in the company on the customer sales side of things. I worked behind a counter, was not passionate about cars, passionate about people, but not about the cars. But I had a little experience with that, as well as doing the advertising and the promotion side of things, which I really love. It was about that time that we started the business that I also found some fulfillment in what I am passionate about, and that's helping people with their dreams. And I started a line of business in a direct selling market. I've done a few things over the course of the years, and I'm just going to tell you, the book knowledge is really important, and that's what you're getting in school. The experience is really important, It will help you to develop. A lot of who you are naturally plays a huge part in what you do, because you're going to hear throughout the day today whenever I'm sharing that I want to encourage you to find who you are and develop who you are into whatever you're doing, and you are going to be successful with that. But I will also say that I have learned so much with the line of business that I'm doing now, a lot more of the practical application on developing myself, which has helped me with developing better sales techniques. So today you are actually going to learn some real life practical applications on some real good sales techniques that you can actually go use and apply. But what I'm going to spend the most time on here in the beginning is what I feel to be the most important. And that is more about developing yourself and kind of defining what that means. So we're going to learn about choosing success, because it is a choice. And I think everything that you do in life is a choice and a reflection of the choices that you make. And so it's totally up to you. So I wanted to tell you, if you want to get the notes from today, you can let Miss Jordan know, or your teachers will be provided for you. We have the slides as well as the notes that I'm going to be sharing with, which is a lot more detailed than the slides. And so you can just request that and you'll have that available. Okay, and I think with this microphone and this one on,
yeah, I think I forgot to turn it
we're
off.
having a little feedback. So, okay, great.
I think I forgot to do that.
Okay, so before we can, let me get my little clicker here. There we go. Before we can talk about what it takes to be successful in sales, we need to define what that means. So the big question is not necessarily how do I be successful in sales, but what is success? And it's going to be different for you than it is for someone else. Only you can make that decision. It really depends on what your goals are. So if you are in an environment where you are actually a salesperson, then depending on the type of environment will determine what your goals are there. Are you looking to just make a bunch of customers that want to come in and do one-time sales? Are you looking for that? Or are you going to be looking for people that will come in and come back over and over again? So your approach is going to be different. I would also like to ask you, are you interested in repeat business or obtaining referrals? John Maxwell, if you don't know who he is, he's a very renowned author, speaker. Go look him up, follow him. He's a great leader, life coach. He says success is spending your life on yourself and spending your life on others. You can have real personal and lasting success in all areas of your life. And the good news is you get to choose. Today I'm going to teach you some sales techniques, like I told you, on how to make the sale, but I'm also going to teach you how to make the customer. And I want to propose to you that making the customer is better than just making the sale. You're going to need to first choose to understand what the difference is, and you're going to need to choose to determine the answer to this question. What are you really selling? And that's what I want to focus on. When presenting a product or a service to a potential customer, there's some basic factors that's going to determine whether or not you make the sale. First of all, does your product or service, does it take care of a need? Does it solve a problem? Is it in the budget for your potential customer? Are you going to be able to deliver what you said you were going to be able to do, and in the time that's expected and the time that they need it? Is there a reason why they would want your brand or the store that you're representing, your company, or even that product? And the biggest question, I believe, is there a reason why they would even want to buy it from you? So first of all, you need to do your homework. So I do lead a team with my company. I am with It Works Global. Not going to tell you about that today other than to tell you a few little things. Being that I do lead a team, I do train train my people, one of the satisfactions that I have had is not only helping my customers to get healthy, but also help my team of distributors to find a way to maybe pay off some debt or live their dreams. And so I find real fulfillment in helping people. But the only way that you can really help people with whatever it is that you choose, whatever you're passionate about, is if you understand what it is that you have to offer. So it's super, super important, and I train my team this, that you've got to do your homework. You need to understand what are the highlights of your product. What are the benefits? What does your competition look like? You need to know if somebody down the street has the same thing. Where are they? How much does it cost? How quickly can they deliver it? And you need to know, you also need to know what the options a consumer could use in order to purchase your product. Let's just say that you work for Best Buy. I do know that Best Buy also has online options. So maybe you're a salesperson in the building. You've got to compete with your own company because they can go buy that online. Can they buy it through an online auction site? Can they buy it through another competitor's store? These are things that you want to know. And one of the biggest things that I think is real important as a salesperson to have success is that not only do you need to know your product and everything about it, the ins and outs of it, all the things we just talked about, but you also need to know what does your potential customer know already about your products before they even walk in the door. Thanks to the internet, most customers are educated. They know exactly what they want, they know where to find it, they know how much it's going to cost, they've read the reviews, they know what you think about it, and they know what somebody in California thinks about it. They know if it's going to last, they know if there is a warranty on it, they know everything about it. I actually just bought my car over the internet and then drove down to Dallas and picked it up. Before we even saw the salesperson, we did it all over the internet and over the phone. He had a job to do. He had to do something to stand out and make that sale for us, because that is how a lot of consumers are buying today. So you need to understand those rules. And even if it's a small, simple, like maybe you work in a clothing store, the rules still apply. You need to understand what you have and why on earth they would want what you have. You need to understand that the only difference between you and your competition is not the product itself, but rather I propose to say it's you. It's the salesperson. There's the difference. That opening quote that I gave you, why on earth would, if you're in the same environment, maybe you've even joined a company where you have a full sales team and you all have the same company that you're working for, you all have the same products to offer, you have the same customers that are being marketed to, everything is the same, except for some in the organization do better than others. Why is that? Sometimes it feels like maybe they know something you don't know, or they have a slight edge. I'm going to propose that it's you. You are the difference. The same, yes. Okay, I'm going to also propose that we're all salespeople. You are. Whether you are in a job selling anything or not, you're a salesperson right now. I guarantee you, you have a mom and a dad, or maybe, I don't know if there's older people that you're married or you have a significant other. So if you want to go somewhere, or you want your parents to buy you something or approve of something, you pitch a sale to them. And you know exactly which one you're going to go to, don't you? You know exactly the right time. You know what to say, what not to say. You know what their objections are going to be. And you have figured out a solution before you ever ask the question. You know how to close that deal before you ever start. And so that's exactly what we do naturally. We also sell people every day for somebody else. So you go find a great steak, you talk about it. You find a great sale, you tell your friends about it. Maybe you saw a good movie and you think everybody should go see it, or you read a great book, or you know what teacher to ask for and which one to avoid, or friends, or whatever. And you do it. You're selling. You are referring others to something. And it may be somebody else, a company that you work for, or maybe it's to you. But you do it. You do it naturally. So as salespeople, if you'll take this natural approach and just understand that you're a salesperson, all right? So what I'm going to teach you is not just about how to make money, but how this applies to your entire life. You can use these principles to everything that you do, and it will work to make you a better person. But if you will use this natural approach, doing the things that you do anyway, and put some effort, and learn a little bit, maybe learn the trade of whatever you're doing, get some knowledge, some skills. You might need a few extra skills. If I know you're in a great environment here where you're getting those skills, you're in the business building and you're learning things that will help you with some of the things that you've shown an interest with already. As a matter of fact, you guys already are doing some things that are different than a lot of people because you've chosen this path. You've chosen to get some skills early in life that maybe others have not done, and it'll set you apart so that whenever you get out there in the real world, you'll have some things under your belt that other people are just getting started with. It's a big deal. And I also feel like I'm one of you guys because I did the same thing when I was a teenager. There we go. So the microphone does not like me. But bottom line is if you can hone the skills in, if you can take what you naturally do and understand who you are, understand what makes you tick and what your strengths are, focus on those, and be willing to take a personal inventory of yourself, as well as being willing to make a change in yourself, because maybe whenever you take that personal inventory, you might see that there's some room for growth. If you'll do that and really hone those things in, I'm telling you, you can take your passions and turn them into profit. So it may be that you find yourself in some positions that you're not passionate about for a while, but while you're there, you're gaining some skills that you're going to need for future, so that whenever you do get to a point where you can literally just follow your dreams, you're equipped for it. So find what you do well without trying, and then try. Discover your strengths and improve on them. Develop your skills that are designed to enhance who you are. Then be the very best you, because you are destined for success. So let's go to the next slide here. The slight edge that I mentioned to you, Jeff Olson. Wow. Okay, I need to just plant myself and stay right here. Jeff Olson says in that book, he describes the slight edge philosophy. He says it is to understand that it's the little steps compounded do make a difference. That the things that don't look dramatic, that don't even look like they matter, do matter. That they not only make a difference, they make all the difference. And I would have to agree with that. Successful people do this. They do the simple things that are easy to do. And I just want to tell you that the simple things that are easy to do are also the very same things that are easy not to do. Think of the athletes that just went and competed from all over the world. Don't you know that every single one of them that competed in the Olympics had success before they even got there? And what got them there? It wasn't that they just were naturally talented, although that was a big part of it, I do believe that. But they didn't just wake up and decide that they're going to go compete. They had to train their body. They had to get up every day and do the little things. Maybe it was run half a mile before school, or go, eat some healthy choices and not eat the French fries or the cake. It's the little things. Maybe it's that they needed to fill their minds with positive things and not listen to the people that were telling them you'll never do that. Those are little things that make a big difference, and I'm going to share with you some of those things that successful people do. Successful people write their goals and dreams down. They put it on paper, and then they read it. They look at it all the time, and they put a deadline with it. So I don't know how many of you in here like to write lists out. And okay, good, several of you. How many of you guys write down what you're going to do for the day? Good. Do you find satisfaction when you check it off? I know I do. And what happens if you do something that you hadn't put on your list? What do you do?
Put it on my list and I check it off.
Yes, thank you. I did the same thing. Go back and stick it on the list, and I did it on purpose. I don't know, there's something satisfying about knowing that you've accomplished what you set out to do. And so write down your goals and dreams, and don't be afraid to do it big. You also want to make a plan. So maybe you know what you want to do, but in order to get there, you got to have a roadmap, okay? So make a plan, and then it's not good enough just to have the plan on paper. What do you have to do? You got to start the plan, right? You got to do that thing. And so when you get it going, then momentum starts taking place, and then you feel good about it. And then I've already mentioned filling your mind with inspiring and positive things. You know, you can actually go, you can read if you're a reader. I personally do not like to read a whole lot, even though I know it's good for you, but I find a way to do it anyway. So I do audio stories, so I get to read with my ears. You can do that. You can download through iTunes. You can go to YouTube. You can do whatever it takes to find a way to fill your mind with positive things and inspiring things. Speak encouragement and truth, not only about yourself, but about other people. Whenever you speak encouragement into somebody else, what does it do for you? It's kind of like Christmas. At Christmas time, you know, you've heard it's more blessed to give than receive. I don't know, you don't have to answer that, but I think most people would feel that that is the truth, that whenever you're giving, you feel so much more fulfilled than when you're taking. And so I want to challenge you to give of yourself. If you have a skill that you do well, share it with other people. You can give a smile, you can give a kind word. It doesn't matter what it is, just speak truth into people. Be excited and surround yourself with supportive people. So if people are tearing you down, or they're telling you you can't do it, and they're negative all the time, you may want to find yourself in some other groups. So you will become who your closest friends are, and you'll be like them. So be the one to be the influence. I'm not saying be unkind and never be around those people, but you do want to choose where you spend most of your time. You also want to focus on your faith and success versus fear and failure. Those are the opposites. Faith is the opposite of fear. And I'm going to tell you, just the fact that I'm standing here is living proof that faith is the opposite of fear, because whenever I was in college and I took a speaking class, I thought I would throw up. I was so afraid. And I had like an 8-minute speech, and it was about hair. I mean, it was about nothing. And it just terrified me, because that honestly is what most people are afraid of, is getting up and speaking in front of other people. But when you find a way to go and attack those things that you're the most afraid of, you'll find growth there, and you'll find that it wasn't so bad. And if you just have a little faith in whatever it is that you want to do, don't let fear hold you back. Just have faith that you can do it, and you can be successful. And it's real important that you own and take responsibility for your choices and for your future. Don't blame other people. It's not your mom's fault. It's not your brother's fault. It's not your friend's fault. It's not your dog's fault who ate the homework. You know, it really just boils down to take responsibility. It's you. So if you can own it and deal with it and admit it and go on and do what you can to make a change, and what you can't change, but you can change your attitude about it. So you choose, and you'll find that you'll be more successful in a lot of things whenever you just do that. It's the little simple things done over and over and over again, like I said, the compounding that make the big difference. If you can teach this and lead others to do the same thing and stick with the basics, you're going to find that whatever you do, you're going to find success in. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so I just want to challenge you with that. The next step here, this is how you apply the things that I just talked about. And we're just going to hone it in. I'm going to give you some practical things here soon. How long do I have?
Questions at about, time flies, 1:10?
At 1:10. Okay, then I'm going to breeze right through these. I'm going to say apply the A, B, C, D, and E's to your life. A stands for attitude. Attitude is huge. We've already talked a lot about that, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot more time on the attitude other than to say you can choose it and have a smile on your face, on your mouth, in your eye, and be genuine with people and leave your personal issues at home. And that will make a huge difference because people they will detect from the tone of your voice, from your body language, from the words that you say if you're really genuine, and it will make it or break it for you. Belief, I do want to spend a little time on because I think it's super important. If you have a product or service that you're trying to sell, people are going to take your words seriously if they believe that you believe. So if you believe in what you have to offer, you either have it because you've had a personal experience or because somebody else has had a personal experience that you have been able to tap into. So if it's something that you can personally experience, go do it because nobody can take that away from you. Nobody's going to tell me that my body wraps don't work because I have used them and I have gotten results. Nobody's going to tell me that my supplements don't make people feel better. I have people that are off of their meds that are done with their pain. Nobody can take that from me. I have absolute concrete belief in what I sell. Nobody can take that away from me because I have the personal experience. But maybe you find yourself selling televisions down at Best Buy. And the one that you really want to sell the most is that $5,000, $7,000 big screen TV that you can't afford yourself. Do you have personal belief in it? No. But maybe you had a customer who came in and they live over in Galardia and they have this huge, massive entertainment room and they bought one of those $7,000 screens, not because they wanted to brag, but because they have a group of kids that are underprivileged that they've adopted into their home. And they want to bring them in and they want to spoil them and let them watch the Super Bowl on the TV. Kids that have never even gotten a chance to see that. They play football with their neighbors, but that's about it. And maybe somebody in that group has a really great skill and just has no clue what's available. And this man brings this group in and feeds them this big feast, and they sit in there and they watch the Super Bowl and they get to see the commercials, which is my favorite part. But in the middle of that, somebody gets inspired and says, I can do that. And then they go out and they make it happen because now they know what can happen because they've seen it, they've experienced it. And that man comes back to you and tells you, thank you for selling me this TV. You got to know what's happened. See this guy here? I want you to meet him. This is who he is, and this is what he's going to do. You watch for him. He's going to be on TV one day. Now, how do you feel about selling big screen TVs? You have belief, right? Because you've made a difference in somebody else's life. I'm going to challenge you that whatever you're doing, don't make it about yourself. Make it about other people and find a way. Facts tell, stories sell. That is one thing that Alana has used in her preparations for these competitions, is she's found a way to bring a story into what she's selling to grab the heart of the person she's talking to. Because if you cannot connect with them and build a relationship and grab their heart and make them want to be a part of whatever it is that you have to offer, whether it be a silly little scribbling on a piece of paper or something big like a big screen TV, or to join a movement that you're a part of. It doesn't even have to be about products. It doesn't matter. If you want somebody else, if you want to convince somebody to join you, you better believe in it. You better have the attitude that you have that you can actually present it to them, and then have the confidence. Have the confidence in yourself to be able to deliver it. Nobody can shake you from that. Be determined. Be determined that no matter what you want in life, you're going to be able to get it, and nobody's going to stop you from it. And then I also want to encourage you to be committed to excellence. Excellence is the key, I think, that is missing in a lot of environments. People do the mediocre. They just do what they need to do to get by. And I want to challenge you to do a way above and beyond what is expected of you. If it's expected, go another step. I know at Precision Tune, our stores, we offer a beverage to our customers. We go and get it from another room. We don't have a machine out front. We hand it to them. We ask how we can serve them. We follow up with a phone call after they come into our business and ask them how their experience was. Do you think that maybe wows them a little bit? I just talked to somebody at lunch today that said, oh, I use you, and I was so surprised when I got a phone call from Precision Tune, and I thought they had messed up on my car and they were calling to tell me. But no, they were calling to say, we were glad you were there. I hope you enjoyed your experience. Is there anything else we can do for you? And so I want to encourage you to be committed to excellence. Do what others don't do, and then you'll be able to have what others won't have, because you set yourself apart. And with that, you'll get referral business because it'll just happen naturally. I think that's the last slide. I want to give you guys some practical tips. Let me see. Nope, here we go. I'm not going to read that. I'll let you guys read that. But real quickly, some practical tips, and this is in your notes that you'll get. These are some great little closing sale tips, and I say closing because your mindset when you begin needs to be on the end. Every single thing that you do in the process is part of the process. You start with the end in mind when you begin. So the first thing when you see a person, I want to challenge you to go up and give a firm handshake. Look them in the eye, smile. What are they going to do? They're going to look you back in the eye, they're going to smile. And it's creating that bond, that relationship. And a lot of people don't do that. That alone right there will set you apart. And you want to assume the sale. If you're going in to sell somebody, you're going to assume that it's going to get done. So go in with that kind of confidence in your ability to deliver what's needed and the information that they need so that you can solve their problems and get that sale done. Another thing that is an option, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 different things that you can do as a closing. One is in no's, one is in yeses, and one is in either or. The yeses, I learned this about 25 years ago when I was working for Mary Kay, that people will do what you're doing. Is that right, Katie? Yeah. So you shake your head when you want them to say yes, and she just shook her head when I did this with her. And so sometimes I feel like a little bobblehead because I do it without thinking. But if you're shaking your head, and isn't today a pretty day? Yeah, it is. They just said yes, they're agreeing with you, they're smiling back. And we have a rapport now. Would you like to buy it? Yes, you would, right? So shake your head yes when you want them to say yes, when you're asking a question. A lot of people, though, come in with a defense up and they don't want to say yes. They want to say no. And they're determined to say no. So let's give them a reason to say no. So you can usually tell by their body language if they're going to say yes or if they're going to say no. Okay? They're not going to say yes to you and they're doing this kind of thing. So agree with them. Give them an opportunity to act in their own nature, but you're still controlling it. So give them an opportunity to say no. Trey, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to just take that TV home today? The answer is no. No. Right. No, there's no reason. There's no reason why I can't do that today. So they've said no, but they really said yes. So that's a good little trick. When it comes to the closing, this is assuming you've done all the other stuff already. Give people options. People do like to choose. And I know that when my girls were young, well, all three of my kids, I have a son too, but when they were young and I wanted to still be in control of the clothes they chose, but they were ready to choose, I would set out 2 options for them. And I would say, which one would you like to wear today? And so they still thought that they were in control, but I still controlled it, right? Okay, well, it's no different in the sales process. Present the options. Let them know the benefits. Do your work, do everything that we discussed, and then give them options. Would you like 1, or would you like this special where you get to buy 4 and you get 3 free? Which one do you want? Would you like 1 for $25, or do you want 2 for $30? Well, what's a better deal? You know, give them an option. One of the things that I do in my business is my options after I present my products is I give people an option to buy. They're going to buy it wholesale, and they can choose to buy as a customer or as a distributor. So I present, throughout my process, I present everything I need so that they can make a choice. And then when I'm done, I don't say, well, do you want to buy something? That's a yes or no answer. And they probably want to say no, because they came in wanting to say no. Instead, I say, how would you like to buy? Would you like to buy as a customer or a distributor? It's your choice. And my closing has gone up with that little slight change. So you see the difference? So giving choices is good, but not yes or no answers, because you're going to get a no most of the time. Unless you want them to say no, and that's when you rephrase it and you shake your head no. Follow up. Follow up's the last thing I'm gonna go over, and I think it's super, super huge. And it is the example that I shared a little while ago about Precision Tune, about us making a phone call after the sale to see how our customer did. That is an example of how we followed up with our customer after the money had been exchanged. So that customer was wowed by the fact that we did that, and then has gone on to share it with me and others sitting around the table of how he was treated. So therefore, he's referring people back to us, and he'll be back because it made a big difference. The follow-up sometimes is after the sale, and sometimes, and actually most of the time it's after the sale, but a lot of times it's actually before the sale, it's prior to the sale. Because maybe, especially if it's a big ticket item, the customer might want to get the information, touch it, feel it, think about it, soak it in. Now that they know what they know, they need to budget for it and plan for it, and then go make the purchase. So not everything is a right now, it's a process. So your job as a salesperson, if you find yourself in that situation, would be to follow up with that customer during the process up to the sale. And so there's a lot of things you can do. Technology is a great help. I do with my phone, I put little messages in my phone and put alarms on dates, and it says follow up with such and such because they have asked me to. A lot of times I'll have somebody that says, can you call me back in the middle of May? That's a better time for me. I'm like, great, yeah, I'll call you back maybe around the 15th. Is that good? Yes. So I'll go to my calendar and I'll write it in on the 15th and I'll put an alarm on it, and it tells me to call that customer. So guess what? Come the 15th, when my little memory reminds me and I make the call, that person is surprised that I remembered. They're wowed that I did it. They're glad that I did, and now I can move that process along. And so it's a big deal. So do what you need to do to stay in touch with your customers, do the extras, and remember that the success of closing the sale begins with the potential buyer realizing that there's a need. And sometimes you have to point out the need, okay? So maybe they don't realize that they have a need, and you can point that out. Fill the need, solve their problem, sell yourself as the answer, and then teach others to do the same, and you'll be successful in whatever you do. And that's all. Do you guys have some questions? I know I've talked a lot.
Questions? Karen, do you have any questions? Karen's been in sales. Do you have any questions?
Best Buy,
Oh, there you are.
and also have experience being a Google rep over the holiday season. I don't really have any questions, but yeah, that's my sales experience overall. So I sell electronics, obviously Google products, Samsung products. So phones,
Have you found
tablets.
something to be a good aid in helping you close the sale? Something different than what I shared this morning?
No,
But you have
I
to
just,
apply, didn't you?
I just, you know, make the best I can of the experience I get. I work mostly weekdays and it's not very busy, so I just work with what I get.
That's good. So you have a great attitude. You
Yeah.
just showed that.